the Prince Albert Challenge Cup. We have skipped a race past the Wyfold. If you're joining us for the Wyfold Challenge Cup, that's skip through. Comes at the end of today's session. Dresden have had a little bit of damage to their boat. They're currently in the boat tent, getting that fixed. So we're on to race number 74 if you're following it through the card. Prince Albert Challenge Cup, Columbia University from America against Harvard University B, also from America. So an all-America matchup. Looking down towards Hambledon Lock there. Nice place to catch the start. Stroll up there on the bank of the Thames. Lovely rolling countryside round Hambledon Lock. Umpire just getting positioned. Hambledon Valley stretching out into the distance. Brighter blue sky now than earlier. Lovely countryside at the start line, isn't it, around Temple Island?
It's absolutely beautiful and a great place to go and watch the racing. Just above the start, you get such a great view, and just to be up there for an hour or two on a regatta day, and you can really get close to these crews.
Space there today, we jam-packed there over the weekend. Park down there. If you're heading here, you can drive straight to that section of the course, but it will be around over the weekend. So the All-American matchup in the Prince Albert Challenge Cup, Columbia University against Harvard University B. Coming under starters orders.
Attention! Go!
In the blue and white on the buck station, Columbia University. Keeping very level with Harvard University as they're passing Temple Island on the right-hand side of the screen. A mile and a bit ahead of them. Perfectly straight Thames water that you can see stretching out towards the Henley landmarks in the distance. And a good clean start from both boats as they've got past Temple Island. And it looks very level in the early stages.
A good clean start from both crews, but I think Harvard were a little bit punchier. They were certainly rating higher strokes per minute. They were up in the high 40s, whereas Columbia down at 41. But it's the slightly lower rating of Columbia that has led them to have a slight lead at this point, hasn't it? About a canvas in it at this early stage.
Yeah, the blue and white of Columbia on the foreground are getting on for a quarter, maybe half a length up on Harvard University B, but there's nothing in it. This is going to be a terrific all-American clash, you sense. I don't think there'll be any love lost between these two boats.
No, an all-American clash and an all-lightweight clash as well. Both of these crews are lightweight crews. Now at Henley we don't have lightweight events, but should these crews race at more international events, they will be racing in lightweight categories. So they are perhaps slightly lighter than some of the other crews in this event. And it being a coxed event, that makes it a little tricky. They're going to have to carry that extra weight all the way down the course. It's not something they're used to doing in lightweight categories. But both crews doing a really good job of getting into their rhythm early on at this early stage of the race.
Yeah, it makes it an even match-up, this one. Similar weights, similar preps, similar experiences. Here they head towards the more busy section. The entertainment ramping up in the background. You can sense that a big evening is ahead for some of those race girls. Some of the Henley Regatta punters will be looking forward to a big night on the banks of the Thames there. Lucky with the weather.
Thursday evening always a good night out on the banks of the River So Island.
Tell me which one's a bad night. And it looks on the far side of the course as if the crimson and white of Harvard are just fighting back a little bit. It's very, very even still, but Harvard have had a good couple of 100 metres there and just edging themselves back into the contest against Columbia. Putting together a good race here, Harvard University, the crimson and white on the Berkshire side of the course. You see the cocks there. Just poking the head over the top, Catherine Gildier. And she's keeping an eye on what's going on in the boat behind as well. Jen Koo, the cox for the Columbia University boat.
Both coxes taking the opportunity to look straight across to each other. They really are very, very close indeed at this stage of the race, and both crews will have a clear race plan in mind, and I'm sure their race plan in an ideal situation involves one of their crews getting ahead of the other crew quite quickly, but that's not happened here. It's pretty close, less than a length in it, and I think Harvard just out in the lead at this stage over on the far side of the screens.
So Columbia University on the buck station, and Harvard University, as you say, just in the lead, but only just, and really tight contest ahead of us. Looks like they've got extended that lead close to a length now. Harvard just stretching out on the bark side of the course to a length. On Columbia, it's going to be a good fight, this one, though. There's still lots of water between them and the finish line. It's not quite a length, is it? In fact, they're coming back at them a bit, Columbia. Down to half a length now. Harvard's think this is going to be a ding-dong.
Yeah, they're going stroke for stroke at the moment. Harvard have just raised their rate of striking slightly. They've seen the challenge that Columbia are starting to put in, and they're wanting to make sure that they match the power that's going into those Columbia strokes at the moment, because they're pushing to get back on terms.
So Columbia trying to work their way back on Harvard University B, and it's all states match up there. The Harvard boat moving along really nicely. They'll be very happy with their progress in this race. That's a well-oiled boat, isn't it?
And they have a fantastic line as well. That cox has not deviated from the best line on that side of the course. I think she's done a fantastic job. In fact, both coxes, nice, clear lines. But it's what the rowers are doing that's going to count now. The coxes can do so much. They can prepare the crew, they can coach them on the water, but the rowers have got to take the boats over the line now.
Yeah, this is where all those hours in the gym, the hours and hours of training, mental rehearsal, come good for one boat at least. Columbia University on the buck side of the course. They are right in this race against Harvard University B on the bark station, and this is going to be too tight to call. Right in front of Stewart's enclosure now, deep into the race, and this American head-to-head is looking like a cracker. It's still Harvard University, though, who have the edge. Columbia just dropping off the pace a fraction there.
Harvard are just looking out of the corner of their eye at Columbia and just about keeping it under control. Columbia had raised the rate 1 pip, but Harvard saw that off, and they came up to 35 strokes a minute as well. So everything that Columbia are trying to do, Harvard are matching at this point.
They are. It's been one of the best races of the day, though. Harvard University, a sustained onslaught, enough to see Columbia University into second, we think. But there's still a couple of 100 metres remaining. Harvard trying to hang on to that lead, which at times has been very slender on this course, against Columbia University in the blue and white. So there's Harvard making pretty good progress towards the finish line in front of that really busy Berkshire bank of the River Thames here at the Henley Royal Regatta. Getting good applause, and they deserve it as well, because they've had to dig deep there. They've been pushed hard by Columbia, but Harvard University just pouring on the pressure, snapping through the gears, and that is perhaps not a fair reflection of what has been a thrilling race. They're going to win this comfortably by a length or so at the end, but that doesn't tell the full story. Harvard University B, first home. Columbia University gave them a run for their money in that Prince Albert Challenge Cup heat. One of the tighter races, although perhaps at the finish the margin not entirely reflective of the competitive nature of that heat.